Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kwakadash. Time to the elders and apostles of Great Stone rule well, and the Akim, the work of Yahweh Shim Shai in all sincerity and diligence of mind, Yahweh Shim Shai, Brakatam. And it's just a follow up, man, to the previous video, the EMP and RFID chip, those two prophecies, man, it has to happen, alright? So, no, I got an old video here. It's from way back in the 80s when they had Iran-Contra hearings, you know. So, the Most always have a way of bringing these old things to mind, man, because that's exactly what the Lord likes to do, man. Prophecies, man. Or whatever is said in the past, He has to bring it to fruition, all right? So I'll play this video, and I can have an idea of what it's talking about and more.
Colonel North, in your work at the NSC, were you not assigned at one time to work on plans for the continuity of government in the event of a major disaster? Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so you could see his reaction, man. You know, it's like the angel of the Lord just tweaked his spirit and they went into beach mode, man. A grown man goes into beach mode. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, bitch? you know? So it's one thing, man, I came have to understand, man. Because Mr. North is still alive today. And I believe it's also tied in with the NRA. Alright, so the NRA has already become a front for all these gangsters that work for the elites, man. That's exactly what America has turned into, man. A haven of gangsters, whether they're calling themselves Republicans or Democrats, it doesn't matter. They're all there to fulfill the lots, the wishes of the elites, man. So it's all smoke and mirrors. Doesn't matter if they call themselves independents, progressives, or conservatives. They're all in the same boat, but different levels. Some people like to stay in first class. Some people like to stay in economic class. Whatever, they're all the same. Doesn't matter. They're all going to the same destination. you know. So that's the way it is, man. So it's a prophecy that the Lord Yabashima Shah set up certain corrupt individuals, to take over government, institutions around the world. And, it's not it's just a front, man. It's just a puppet. All you gotta do is stay in line. But he has no other way out, man. Because the Lord Yabashima Shah didn't shed his blood to come save the Edomites, man. The Edomites are already in their power. This is their heaven. And I mean, they're doing everything they can to hold on to it. So I'll talk less, I'll play the video some more, and then you have an idea what we're dealing with.
I believe the question touches upon a highly sensitive and classified area, so may I request that you not touch upon that, sir?
Yep, so that's exactly what Esau's about, man. He's planning the downfall of Babylon, but at the same time, he doesn't want to talk about it. It's all classified, right? So a lot of information that you need, you could go down to the archives, talk with one of the researchers there, or go down to the Library of Congress, or go on the internet. You could find whatever information you're looking for. You could find it there, and through the spirit of Yahweh Shimei Shah, you could put it together, and we could make a documentary. Right? And a lot of these news reporters, they use the National Archives. They get the opportunity to file Freedom of Information Act, and then that way they could always put a piece, a report, for the news agency. So the information that you're gonna get, man, you'll be astounded, man. So the man you see on the screen, the Ammonite, he already passed away. He's Japanese. His folks were in the so-called concentration camps during World War II. So those camps, man, they're gonna be opened back up when SHTF, shit hits the fan. The EMP drops, and then folks have to take the microchip, man. Because they want to force people to give up their freedoms, to go along with the plans of the elite, because they need to have an inventory of what uh, what they're going to be ruling over, the people. All right, so they're going to push in every direction to hold on to power. All right, and they want to come against the Lord. That's one thing you see in this video, man. They want the information to be classified. So both gentlemen, Mr. Jack Brooks and Mr. Inouye, he already passed away. So it's funny that when you live in DC or you're in the area around the DC area, you get to meet all these people, man. You get to see their family and all that stuff. But I guess everybody in GMS has a unique situation, man. You get to see these elites, whether you're passing by, whether your job requires it. So, uh, Kahala Yahaba Hashem Yahushua Hashem Kwakadash. So that's not really the main point. But the main point is that, the plan, for them to be dominant has already been set in play and it has to happen. And I'll play the video some more.
I was particularly concerned, Mr. Chairman, because I read in Miami papers and several others that there had been a plan.
And that's Esau's kingdom, man. Ammonite telling him that you can't talk about that, and the Ammonite was the chairman of that, was it the hearing of that commission or whatever services, whatever, that was in charge of that hearing. So just let you know, man, Esau doesn't care about who he puts in power as long as his agenda is being taken care of.
Agency, a contingency plan in the event of emergency that would suspend the American Constitution, and I was deeply concerned about it. And
you hear that, man? Suspension of the American Constitution. So for the RFID chip to be implemented, the American Constitution has to be done away with. It has to be crushed. And that's one thing that the elites plan on doing. All these mayors and governors and emergency crisis management coordinators, they are aware of certain things, man. You could go on the DHS website, and other websites, you have courses you could take, and it shows you what to do as per natural disasters, things like that, how to communicate to people, planning and all that stuff. The information is out there. You take the course, you get a certificate, and then you can use that in your resume. So it's open, it's open to so many people, man. A lot of people. In fact, all people that have a chance to take it can take it. But what can you do, man? The scripture talks about much studying is awareness of the flesh and of the making of many books. It's not really, what we're here for. All right, we're here for the words of Yahweh Shimi Shai. All right, because wisdom of this world is emptiness. All right, so the canceling of the United States Constitution, suspension of the United States Constitution, that's exactly what they need, man, for this mark of the beast to be implemented, to be pushed full steam. All right, they won't want to hear the wills of the people. And the scripture talks about because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. All right, so that's what you have here, man. Pride, man, the pride of the elite, not to grant the people a forum to address their grievances. So that's exactly what's going to drive these Edomites, these so-called constitutionalists, over the edge, man. And it's going to be so bad. It's going to be banging out here, man. Even in Virginia, folks got guns. We got all kinds of weapons, man. We got a military base, the Quantico military base down there on I-95. So you got Fort Meade, you got Fort Belvoir, you got Fort McNair. Even in North Carolina, you got even in Georgia, even in San Diego, you got all types of military bases and installations, man, even in DC. So just imagine, man, what's gonna happen when things go south. So it's gonna be so messed up. And let me just get a quick precept. This is gonna be from the book of Ecclesiastes. Yeah, just bear me out, Kim. Hopefully this software, you know, stays on point. So the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. Alright, so the collapse of America's economy has to be orchestrated. It's not going to be by accident, it's going to be done intentionally. So, when someone says he made a mistake, meaning what he intended to do does not correspond with the results he got. So that's what what's what you that's what you call a mistake. But when you do something and then you get a result of it, that means you achieved your goal. All right. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. We'll start from verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grandeurs cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. So this before, all hell, you know, basically breaks loose. So the economy tanks, there's riots in the street, and then you shall have to turn up the level, man. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the bird is of the grandin is low. Okay. Read one more time. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grandin is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So we are getting close to that this state, man. This level of incidents, man, to happen. Because when martial law hits, man, there'll be no more concerts. Entertainment would have dried away. Folks will be depressed and stressed out. You know, lack of access to medication and antidepressants. Blood pressure, medication, things like that, man. All these children that got ADD, ODD, or whatever they got, they're gonna have to tough it out. And these hospitals will be much more of a burial ground, man. You know, the EMT crews will not be able to respond because they're low on supplies. They have nothing. You know, and it's gonna be like that video game, The Division. Folks just becoming gangs and stats, going after each other, looking for booty. All right, and then verse 5 says, and also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. So there will be protests. That's what the mourners go about the streets talking about. Protests. You see that all across the world. Spain, Italy, Africa, South America, even in China, India, Pakistan, England. So you're gonna have protests, man. Famine's gonna come. When it says the grasshopper shall be a burden, just like the curse that happened to Egypt in the Exodus of the nation of Israel. All right, so hey, famine is coming. Scripture talks about it. All right, so just imagine, man, national disaster, the suspend the U.S. Constitution. This government will have to go into beast mode. They don't want to go along with the people's recommendations, whether they're experts or not. They're just gonna go along with what's on the books. They already have the legislations in place to keep pushing on full steam, and they're gonna realize, people gonna realize that they've been bamboozled, man. You know, they've been deceived by their so-called elected officials because the Amalekites, man, they've already cornered almost every institution on the face of the earth. But the only institution they haven't cornered is the institution of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's the one they want to corner the most, but try not to make it obvious because they're gonna be met with so much backlash. So they're moving inch by inch, all right, coming under the guise of free speech and hate speech, all right.
I was deeply concerned about it and wondered if that was the area in which he had worked. I believe that it was,
may I most respectfully request that that matter not be touched upon at this stage. If we wish to get into this, I'm certain arrangements can be made for an executive session.
And tragically, the only member who got close was Jack Brooks, and he was stopped by the chairman. But the truth of the matter is that, yes, you do have those standby provisions, and the plans are there, and the statutory emergency plans are there, whereby you could, in the name of stopping terrorism, apprehend, invoke the military.
Yeah, so under the guise of stopping terrorism, that's how they're gonna move, you know, because Esau has to do something with a false flag to have his agenda. He doesn't have the patience to wait, so he has to make it happen artificially, you know. That's why, the Lord has that separation, man, of who the real Israelites are, all right? Those that go according to the Spirit and those that go according to the flesh. And you could see the Amalekites and all the children of Israel because whatever they do is always artificial, man, you know. So they have no salvation. All right. So salvation is a spiritual thing. You know, it's not something you can just pick up and orchestrate yourself. This is orchestrated from above, from the spiritual realm of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kwakadash. And Esau's angry, man. You know, that's why he has his provisions on the books, to come against the men of the Lord. Because he has to squash all opposition to his rulership. And he knows his time is running out, so he's going to try to move quick.
And arrest Americans and hold them in detention camps. In time.
It's not just Americans that are going to be arrested, man. Foreigners that get stranded here, that overstay their so-called visas, that are staying here illegally, they're going to get thrown in concentration camps. Just like the so-called senator or congressman from Hawaii, down in Inouye. His folks were in a concentration camp, so the family talk about it, but they don't like to talk, because you can tell, man, just a bunch of sellouts, man. The fight against their own nation by siding with Esau, so they already know exactly what the deal is, man. Because all smoke and mirrors, man. All these so-called secret societies, they always have an agenda. All right, so they groom certain people to take certain positions, and whoever gets there by so-called accident, they make sure they steer them in the direction they need to be steered in. With the so-called agenda to go along with the plans of the Amalekites. Whatever Israel says, gotta be taken as gold, gotta be taken as gospel. All right.
Times of passion and in times of great fear, what to the eyes of the person and the mind of a person in time of relative peace and stability seem impossible become very real, very logical.
Do you remember the movie V for Vendetta? That's exactly what happened. Folks had to go along, man, because the whole city of London, whatever, it's England, was in martial law, total lockdown. All right, so that's how messed up things are, man, or how it's gonna be, and it's all prophecy. Lockdown, Germany, Spain, England, France, America, China, Japan, Russia. because they have to make sure things are according to plan, of the elites. So, get another precept here. This is Isaiah chapter 19, and then you look at verses 1 and 2. He says, the burden of Egypt, behold the Lord, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kwakadash, rideth upon a swift cloud. Alright, so the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is coming with his angel, and is going to make himself known, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to reveal himself in these last days, man. And all these government officials are going to be terrified, and they're going to know that the words of the Holy Scriptures are 100% intact, and they can't contest, man. They're going to be eviscerated, right? Verse 2 says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. All right, so the civil war is going to happen. Esau knows it. The Pentagon knows it, because they see all the corruption that has been taking place, and they know they're part of the corruption. Talk about 9/11 this, 9/11 that, but the so-called accounting section got lit up, with a missile. So it's messed up, man. It's messed up. It's totally a script, and that's why, so-called Secretary of Defense had to quit. Whether he quit, whether he got fired, it doesn't change anything, man, because America is on its way down, you know. So he drank the Kool-Aid. All those generals drank the Kool-Aid. They're all juiced in, so they can't pretend that they're not aware of what the plan is, all right? So they're just a bunch of small-time crooks that go along trying to make a name for themselves, all right? Then verse 3 says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. So the wisdom of America is going to be torn down, man. All these so-called pundits and wise men, think tanks will not have a genuine answer for the people. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So, yep, the Messiah is going to destroy, the counsel of this place, man. These people will not be able to prosper anymore, man. So it's one thing a lot of folks don't understand, man, that the Messiah is terrible, and when it's time for him to act, he doesn't back off, man. That's why I pray that Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai have the Akim in his good graces. So last precept here will be Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 19. And it says, you know what? I'll start from verse 17. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 17. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. So that's what's going to happen, man, to America, man. All these people that like to be so-called tough guys, smashing people with a one punch, setting people to sleep, squashing people's head with batons, kicking people in the behind, all that stuff. All these macho men, big dudes, 6'10", all muscle, like running backs and linebackers. They're gonna be weak like babies, man. These last days, man. All right. Then verse 18 says, they shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them. So this world don't know anything about sackcloth, man. So it's just gonna represent the state, the condition they're gonna be in. And shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. All right. So, hey, it's a time of mourning that's coming upon America, right? They shall cast the silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels. because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. So just like the curse came upon the nation of Israel, our so-called ancestors, you know, thousands of years ago, it's going to come upon two-thirds of the nation of our people and the heathen, So they're all going to be in a sad case. And the Lord Yahweh Shimon Shai made a promise that it will happen. So I say, Ka halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kodash. And those in the apostle of greatness doing real well, Shalom. And we know that for the RFID chip, man, to be taken, seriously, it's not a joke, man. And you're gonna see how it's gonna happen, man. So I'll just fast forward to the where this government officials talking about the suspension of the Constitution. It's gonna be strange, because you gotta have both, man. You gotta have the EMP attack, the collapse of America's economy, and you also gotta have the RFID chip, and then you're gonna use the excuse of fighting terrorism to justify the implementation of the mark of the beast. And those that go along with it, they're going to be destroyed according to the law of Yahweh Shema Shai. And the men of the Lord, we have to have faith in Yahweh Shema Shai's promise that when we endure unto the end, we're going to be saved. So I'll play the video and then I'll wrap it up.
Standby provisions. And the plans are there, and the statutory emergency plans are there, whereby you could, in the name of stopping terrorism, apprehend, invoke the military, and arrest Americans and hold them in detention camps.
And that's what happens during protests, man. They always have like little cordons, they just arrest people, throw them on buses, then they put them in a stockade, So you can imagine, So these cops, they see what happened, man, when they get into that riot gear, they're following orders, and then all of a sudden, the people get, you know, careened into a location that they do not desire. So just imagine when they start banging that baton against their shield and start screaming, "Move, move, move!" It's like, it sounds like music, sounds of music. All right. So it's gonna happen. The RFID chip has to be implemented under the guise of terrorism that they have to fight, and then a lot of folks will be so depressed and sad that they went along, and then they're gonna be, they're gonna yell and scream, but the Lord will not have mercy upon them.
Of passion and in times of great fear, what to the eyes of the person and the mind of a person in time of relative peace and stability seem impossible become very real, very logical, very possible.
And that's what Scripture talks about: an evil suspicion has overthrown the judgment, man. Folks like to go along with the so-called government. Oh, the government has your best interest at heart. We have to fight the enemies. We have to find the Allah Akbars. We need to find these so-called black identity extremists. We have to fight against the Chinese. That's what they like to say. America first, America this, America that, and then, they find themselves on the battlefield. And then they get a news that was snuck into the camp saying, America is under attack by its government. They're like, wow, they can't make it back home, you know, because all the planes have left, helicopters have left. They're on the battlefield. There is no returning home, man, for the soldiers once they get shipped out to the Middle East, man. They could withdraw from Syria, wherever they want to withdraw to, but when all hell breaks loose, they're going to be asking for all buddies. Just like in the movie Platoon, where the commanding guy saying he needs all swinging dicks in the field, That's what's gonna be. So it makes gotta report for duty, you know. And the draft is gonna happen, man. You know, you can't avoid that. So it's part of the prophecy. So I'll say Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kwakodash to the elders and apostles of Grace Millstone who rule well. You know, so this is it, Akim. You know, we can't avoid this prophecy, man. It has to happen. Let's say Shalom.